Hello, parents. Welcome to lesson 10 of Marketing 3. And I hope you're going to enjoy this fascinating topic in our country, especially knowing that South Africa is so rich with so many cultures, with so many official languages as well as official language, so many ethnic tribes in what we call a rainbow nation, having so many colors in terms of culture, tradition, norms, in whatever angle you can have a look at this. You need to know the impact on culture and marketing. So yes, culture is relevant to consumer behavior, because the consumer that we target with these brands, the consumers that we target as marketers, they do have their culture to associate with. So it will be crucial to bring the connection between culture and marketing, as well as the impact of culture on consumer behavior. But before we move to culture, we need to have a recap on what we have just done. So in previous lessons, we're doing chapter 3, which is market characteristics, and we looked at factors that affect consumer behavior. So we did the environmental analysis by looking at political, physical, economic, governmental factors that have got an impact on consumer behavior. So with this chapter, we are going to look at culture. What is culture? We are going to look at values and beliefs and customs that have got an impact on marketing. We are going to look at needs and culture. We are also going to look at learning and culture, because culture can also be learned. We are going to look at language, symbols, and rituals. So all these have got an impact on marketing, and we are going to discuss the impact of culture on marketing. But what you need to know is that as long as culture influences consumer behavior, it also does influence marketing strategy. So we are going to come across the terms of culture, the concept of value, the concept of subculture, customs, and beliefs. Kindly note that in chapter 2, we spoke about market value. This value is different from the one that we have already discussed. The values that we are talking about are the beliefs that a community or an organization shares. That's why I always hear people saying that we've got shared value. The one that we spoke about in chapter 2, it was the value that customers get when they meet the desired product or service. So what is it that the certification that you get out of the consumption of a need or a want? So that's what we are focusing on. It's always good to emphasize that there's a difference between market value and cultural values. So as a class, we have got this activity that you need to ask yourself as you go through this session. You need to ask yourself, what is culture? I know we've come across the word culture several times, but sometimes it is difficult to actually come up with a definition of culture. Then once you have defined culture, ask yourself as a customer if culture play any role when making buying decisions, and you must be able to give an example. You also need to know and ask yourself the link between culture and marketing. Because if there is no link between culture and marketing, then it's pointless to be having any discussions around culture and marketing. So here is a video that talks about culture. So after watching this video, I hope you got a glimpse of what culture is. So you'd realize that with culture, there are certain ways that we are supposed to behave, and certain ways that are sort of not expected from us. And you'd hear people saying that this is uncultural. So I'm going to play a video for you where women are encouraged to chew in a certain way when they are in a public. So there are things that we are expected to do and things that we are not expected to do as a culture, as people who have got shared values. And these things have got an impact on marketing because we need to understand people's cultures before we send marketing messages to them. So have a look at this video and please pay attention. Okay, I hope you got the aspect of what the video is trying to explain, that a woman must be able to chew in a certain way when she is in public. So all these the aspects of the culture that we deal with. So the study of culture is a challenging undertaking considering its focus on social behavior of all members of a particular society. It is important to discuss the role of that culture plays in influencing consumer behavior. Given the broad and general nature of culture, its study generally requires a detailed scrutiny of societal elements such as values, feelings, attitude, perceptions, languages, law, religion, politics, customs, and so on. So from a consumer perspective, culture is often defined as the total sum of learned beliefs, cultures, and customs that serve to direct the consumer of a members for a particular society. So customs can be defined as culturally accepted overt ways of behaving in specific situations. Beliefs and values in contracts are guides of behavior. Beliefs can be defined as mental states consisting of thoughts or express statements reflecting a person's particular knowledge and assessment of something. There are also other concepts that are not highlighted here, such as norms and tradition. So you need to go and find out the difference between norms, traditions, and customs. What are the differences? So marketers always try to keep abreast of changes in the opinions, beliefs, and values of communities. Then the link between needs and culture. Remember, we spoke about needs in chapter 2. We spoke about needs and wants. So the physiological, personal, and social needs of societies are generally influenced by cultural values, providing order, direction, guidance in consumer decision making. For example, this is not necessarily need because it's something that we can survive with, but we realize that with so many African cultures, it has become a, a culture, a norm that families must have rice on special occasions such as on Christmas or New Year. So you must have rice. If you are seen as a family having other meals such as pap at Christmas, it might just appear as if you are not celebrating Christmas well. And some have also developed a culture of having rice on Sundays. So every time, be it after church, you would see black families having 7 color dishes. So these are the things that I realize that are emerging in societies and becoming culture. Then culture can acquired through good learning and culture. So individuals acquire a basic set of beliefs, values, and customs at an early age. And there are 3 forms of learning. We've got formal learning, where people are sent to schools to learn cultures. Remember, formal learning is not only about going to government schools, academic schools. You can also have formal learning in terms of culture with different initiations or ceremonies. There are young boys who are sent out to have some formal learning about being a man, those circumcision learning with many cultures. We've got also informal learning, whereby you learn on your own through observations, and we've got technical learning. So marketing efforts and advertising in particular have a marked influence on all these 3 forms of learning. So we realize, for example, if language is not understood, it can have some consequential impacts, So language, as we are going to talk about language is a medium that needs to be understood. It is used mostly in marketing. So please have a look and pay attention to this video that talks about the component of language and the consequences it can have if meaning is not understood. I think you got the gist of this funny video where someone on the other end is saying we are sinking. So it's alerting the command control that they are sinking. And I believe as the captain of the ship. But the person who is on command control saying, what are you thinking about? So different cultures also have different approaches to language. Especially English language, you always have different accents from someone who is from South Africa, someone who's from Zim, someone who's from Nigeria, to an extent that sometimes you can always misinterpret what someone is saying. So language is a prerequisite for membership of a particular society in communication, and it is communication by means of a shared language. A symbol can be understood as an object of representing or standing for something else, and symbols are generally used by marketers to convey desired products, related image or attributes. So symbols are defined as a ritual is defined as a symbolic activity involving a sequence of activities and which is repeated over time. Rituals are important for marketers because some products and services tend to be associated with related rituals, symbols, and artifacts. For example, the ritual of having Easter eggs during Easter. So this is something that happens and it can be repeated over time during Easter periods. So as a member of a particular cultural group, of which I believe you are, because you all have or aspire to different cultural groups, do you think culture influences the decisions you make? And if so, in what ways does culture influence your decisions? So this is what you need to ask yourself, and feel free to discuss with your colleagues. We have got a platform for students to discuss, which is on Core Campus. There's a discussion forum there. Then you also need to do multiple choice questions, 1 to 6 on page 99, to just give you a glimpse of the relationship between culture and marketing and how culture influences consumer decision-making processes. So in conclusion, in this lesson, we focused on one of the factors that have got a significant impact on marketing as it influences the behavior of consumers, which is culture. In this exciting chapter, we discussed how culture develops and influences the activities of a group of people and in turn shape their behavior as consumers of different products. As a consumer and member of a particular cultural group, you should be able to relate to how marketers react to cultural influences. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and please feel free to ask any questions. You can reach me out on my email address. My contact details are there on Core Campus, and be able to share any comments that you think are relevant to this chapter. In the next chapter, we are going to be looking at values. Remember, we spoke about values, customs, and beliefs. So in the next lesson, we are going to be talking about South African values and the impact that these values have on consumer behavior and their implications on marketing planning and marketing strategies. I hope you enjoyed this lesson and have a good evening. Thank you.